What's up, guys? Coming at you with part 3 of the how to make Stormdranes pop can koozie, and I'm using just a different jig and a different method. If you haven't seen part 1 and 2, please go check them out. So I told everybody I'd come back to them when I weaved all the way around, and I got to the point I was ready to take out the part that gives me some slack to begin with. And when your can like this is caving in because you're so far around, it's time to take it off. I would call that about 3/4 weaved or so. So first of all, we're ready to take off the rubber band, and it is attached to the blue one. If you're really worried about your rubber band, sorry, no leaving it on there. So you get that off of there, and then you get your jig out of there, or your piece that you're holding for slack, and now you have a fairly loose fit again, but that will tighten up by the time we work our way around. So let's just continue weaving at this point. And this one just got a little bit out of whack because we are loose again, but I'll fix all that here in just a minute. You want to get all your cord nice and flat, and each one of these, it's going to tighten up, and by the end will be super tight again. And I've missed, nope, thought I missed one. That one's just tall because it's so slack right now. And pull all your slack through. Make sure you got no twists. Push it all over. Line all this up. Sorry about the dogs. Hush! They do some things I tell them to do. And then just continue weaving. Now this one, like, it's not as tight as I want quite yet, but we'll get it there as we continue tightening things up. And again, the advantage of those curved fids really shows on these pouches. Just continue pushing everything over. And then the one you did one before that is going to be a little easier to get tightened in there now. See, that's going to stay put now. And now this one that I just did will be kind of loose until we get everything flush. Alright. Just continue the weave, guys. Do the opposite of what you just did. Sometimes I think about leaving the dogs inside if I'm out here doing a video, but I like having them with me. If they really get on your all's nerves, let me know. I'm used to the dogs barking. Alright. Now when you do get to the end, there's going to be the first row you started with and the last row you finish are not always going to coincide with the weave pattern that you're doing. Other than that, it'll all line right up. And again, the one that I did before this is now the one I can get where I want it. And the one that I just worked on is going to remain not quite so tight. It's going to want to push itself away from the one next to it until I do the next row. And you can see we're getting real tight on there again. And again, guys, the paracord for these tutorial series was provided by ParacordStore.com, and you know, definitely go check them out. It's really nice quality. It doesn't get all twisted. You know, it's nice and tight. And when you're dealing with bad paracord and you're pulling it through and weaving it like this, it just wants to twist non-stop. And the better the paracord, the less twisting you're going to get with it. Alright, sorry I was off camera there a little bit, just straightening things out. Alright, now if you get to the point where you're done and you're coming in an up pattern, you can actually kind of scooch all these over. But I think we're going to be good on this one. You'll also start to see where the row next to the one you just did is always going to be the opposite, but the one that we're coming up on, it doesn't look like it's done right on the weave, but it is. The one that the first one you did basically is going to be off. Alright, now I'm looking like I only have room for one more line, but I'm going to push all those over to where I have enough room. And see what I mean? Looks like if I ran up through here, I'm done. Well, I need to end down here for this design, so I'm going to scooch them all over again. And try to make myself enough room for two. And like I said, I can push these over if I need to. Just going the opposite way, and there'll be plenty of room there now. And then this will be hidden once the project's finished. You know, that's our connector for the two colors when we started. Alright, so this line is actually the one we ran up, so it needs to come all the way out like this. And don't forget that line, because that'll make your weave go off. That's why you want this line and this line to sort of be at the same place. Now the line next to the line I just did is good to go, but the one across from it, in other words the first line, the first weave we did, is going to be off from what we're doing right now. And again, don't worry about that. Just worry about the one that you just did and being even with it. Now this is one of those points when it's getting this tight that if you had your marlin spike, it can help you to get your fit in the holes where you want to get it. I'll let slack out again. Push everything over, and I'll have one more line going down. And we'll be done with this portion of the weaving. And we'll start half hitching the bottom. Okay. And these don't have to be absolutely perfect, because we're still going to be able to adjust these when we're done. But you know, enough room to go through them. That's all you're looking for. And don't worry about being off with the first one you did. Just line it up to the opposite of the one you just did, like so. And really, for the weaving, this is the only one that can kind of look confusing when you're looking at it and doing the work, because it's not lining up the way all the other ones did. But just focus on the one to your right. Excuse me. And I'll just demonstrate at this point, when it's getting close and tight, you can get your marlin spike in there to grab the ones you want. Pull it out, and then that leaves room for your fid to go underneath of there. Or, which you've probably discovered this already, just get your fid through, you know, and then start going from there. If you have a tight spot you couldn't work correctly. All right. When you pull a knot up, of course, you didn't have your fingers on the bottom of the string like a paracord, like I told you to. You get a knot every once in a while. All right, guys, that's going to be the last part of the weave. And going to have to come at you with a part 4 for working on the bottom. For now, straighten out all your lines, get them all right where you want them, so everything's nice and lined up. And I'll be right back at you with a part 4, guys. Thanks for watching.